whatever time it is where you are. Paul, uh, privileged member of the Zoom of ZenBitSlap.com. Hey, I was thinking of something today. It's unusual. And I'm going to try this on. I'm going to try this on you. What use is there of a teaching about what can't be taught? Read it again. What use is there of a teaching about what can't be taught? Okay. So, if what you are is what you're looking for, would that help the you more descriptions of what you are? Would that help the you looking for it? What you are is what you're looking for. Obviously, hearing descriptions of what you are hasn't worked, has it? Basically, we've been hearing descriptions of what we are since we're like 4 or 5 years old in our heads, yeah? Then we hear a different batch of descriptions and they sound better. But what's hearing the description? Yeah? It can't be what you are because if it were, you wouldn't be looking for it, obviously, yes? So hearing about what you are, we've been seriously, haven't you? When your head started to break the news to you when you were like 6 or 7, nobody likes you, whatever, whatever it started to describe you as, an unlikable person or whatever, ugly, whatever. We've been hearing descriptions of what we are, and we've had different upgrades. You are love and all like this, which would sound nice, but it would it would sound tinny to the reality we thought we were. Yeah, so it made hearing that we were loved made it worse being that which is unloved and can't be loved. So to continue on, and especially when we run into a topic that they basically warn you in advance, it's indescribable, it's incomprehensible. I mean, and then all right, where does that go? Does it just wash over us? And then all right, let's go and hear descriptions of what I am all day. All I am is consciousness. All I am is empty, completely empty. I am the lit up void, whatever, there's tons of descriptions that are that are trying to describe the indescribable. Why not just describe the describable? Yeah? To the indescribable instead of doing it the other way around. It hasn't worked, has it? It hasn't. It's gotten to such an extreme thing. Certain qualities of what we are, which is, let's say, awake, now becomes I can become awake, which drives the person more crazy than in that case, ignorance is really bliss. What has the term awakening done for most of us? It hasn't brought an ease and comfort. It's brought another demand, a fucking spiritual demand to transcend ourselves. How are you going to purify something that shits every day? Yeah, it's just ridiculous in a lot of ways. Yeah. I mean, you purify it and then a dump occurs and there you go. Oh, yeah, I'm always in the process of purification. There's never a point where you're purified. Yeah, because life continues, time continues. So whatever precious condition you wanted to manage or maintain gets screwed with by the next moment, by Monday, by Tuesday, by Wednesday. That's what sucks about retreats is the day when you leave the retreat. Basically, the retreat on the retreat, there are certain experiences and conditions that can be maintained, but when you drive away from the retreat, they seem to vanish quickly when you see when you go home and see your girlfriend, who doesn't think any, just thought you wasted 2 fucking weeks on this retreat. Yeah. So, I mean, what you are is what you're looking for. That's the premise in one sense. Yeah. So if that's the premise, it's insane. It's like I always share when I was a kid going to Catholic school, they would constantly point out the three traits of God. Uh, and one was omnipotent, all powerful, omnipresent, meaning everywhere, and omniscient, all knowing. So it's everywhere, all powerful and all knowing. And I used to always be confused because why am I not bumping into it if it's everywhere? I just can't understand. I'm bumping into people I want to avoid. I can't. I don't ever. I seem not to bump into everywhere. That would hopefully cause the questioning not to go in that direction, but to ask, what's going on that I don't have a sense of everywhere? Yeah, really. There must be something happening. If I am what I'm looking for, why would I be looking for it? So, and then there's another conundrum. The beautiful news is you're not looking for it. There's something looking for it that presents itself as you, but you're not what's looking for it. You are what's looking. Yeah? You are not what's looking for it. What? No, you're not. You are basically, you're taking the goal to be the vehicle you're going to arrive at the goal. All the while, you are what's looking. It's being used, yeah, in this weird translation of you looking for the truth. Yeah. So every moment there's a looking for. You're that what's looking. What? Yeah. So obviously it hits a point where the only way to go is in a way through negation, to question what's assumed to be so and just see if it is or not. Yeah, because everything, how we're pointed, how we try to know things, how we try to learn, how we try to understand, it's all premised on the fact, which is not a fact, that we're a long-lasting, independent, separate thing. Yeah, that's the premise. And that premise, the color of that premise is in everything that happens from this point. Yeah. So obviously, these were like stop signs. People who had been in this little loop of self-importance threw up, and they would say, "Hey, the seeker is the sought." Yeah. Now, what would you think would occur if that landed? Yeah, the seeking would stop, I hope, because you realize, wait a minute, where I'm trying to jump off is where I want to land. Yeah, I want to get out of me, and yet that's where I want to land. How does that's cognitive dissonance? Yeah, it doesn't go well. You're in two different movements. So wait a minute. All right, let's see. If I am what I'm looking for, and yet I seem to be busily looking for it, something's amiss. Yeah? There must be an activity that I'm not conscious of that's happening or I'm not aware of. There has to be. Okay? And that's the whole description of selfing. Selfing is a mental activity that happens. It's a reaction to what's happening, and it claims what's happening, whatever that is. Yeah, in your life, it claims it to imply a you. Yeah, a you, a you. We do the rest. We jump into the you suit, but it presents a story of a you. And if you could jack into a lot of people's heads here, the story of you would sound just like, in a lot of ways, the story of the other you. Yeah, it's just crowned with a different name, Paul. And because we don't jack into the thought systems, of others, seemingly. We think these are private thoughts. I'm the only one who thinks like this and feels like this. We're like a Pinto in a giant fleet of Fords. We're not a special. We have a special emblem that we're constantly looking at. I am not a Ford, but you're a Ford. You drive like a Ford. You smell like a Ford. You turn like a Ford. You're a Ford. Therefore, you're not, thank God. But first, you got to come to the truth. You're a Ford, and then it leads to, hey, and I'm not. Yeah? Yeah. So, how are you going to come to that reckoning if you're busy using it to look for itself? Yeah? It doesn't work. I don't know. Maybe it has. I wish those people would come back and tell us if it had. So, this whole thing of, hey, what can there be a teaching for something that can't be learned? Obviously, no. Yeah. So the teaching is a negation. That's what it is. It's not. It's presenting that there's a fact. You may not know it or not, but it's putting it out there, and maybe it registers somewhere in you that you are what you're looking for, that there's nothing necessary to become you because you never unbecame you, and all of that stuff. And let's say you have a feeling that maybe it's true, I hope it's true, or something. Yeah? And then from that point on, we look at what can be described. I can learn about something that can be described. If somebody describes it clear enough to me, I may recognize it. I may. So we're attempting to describe the mental activities that present a story that we're a someone. And we're hoping that if we describe it clear enough, or we repeat it enough times, or we overwhelm you like a juggler, we throw 4 or 5 balls, you're used to juggling 3, you're going to get uncomfortable trying to do 5, yeah? So we're going to try to overwhelm the system so that there's a pause and you're still there, yeah? So now there's been a recognition. Selfing actually stops. It does, yeah? The implying of self stops. So at many moments during your day, there's no self that was implied. There isn't. Let's say if you're surfing or whatever you love, if you have anything that just puts a smile on your face every fucking time, in those moments, there's been a forgetting of selfing, and therefore there's no self that was implied. Yeah? And that's how we'd like to feel all the time, but as the one that was absent. Yeah? It'll never get that it hears how great a party's going to be, but every time it arrives, it sucks. It can't get it doesn't see what's going on here. I've been misled. No, the party sucks as soon as you're there. You can't get I'll get there a second before I get there. No, when you're identified as Paul, you're going to arrive at the party as Paul, and then hence the party sucks. What? So we work super hard how I can purify Paul, work on Paul, so that when it arrives at the party, it won't suck. That's and then narratives kick in. You're getting better. You're getting closer to arriving at the party without Paul. Let's control an environment. We'll extend the possibility there. But you'll have to, just like when I was in a drug and alcohol program called Delancey Street for 2 years, they used to put out brochures because it was a business. They were trying to attract customers also. And so, they'd have a success rate like 98%, but you'd have to read the fine print. You could never leave Delancey Street. So, if you want to feel like you're on a retreat, you're going to have to stay on a retreat. most of them aren't free, so you're going to be paying for your freedom. But as soon as you leave the environment and the circumstances being completely maintained and controlled, then it's fucking Russian roulette again. Then it's like poker. So you get a bad hand, all your seeming spiritual stack is gone. Yeah, yeah. So this is I'm not saying if you really want to have a blazing transcendence and go into a ball of light, this ain't the place. This is like, you know what is that? Return to forever. This is like return to normal, really. You just, what, this is, the way Paul is right now, it was what motivated Paul when he was young to seek spirituality. The last thing Paul, when it was young, wanted to be is like Paul now. But there's a huge freedom in there. There is. I don't know how to put it. It doesn't have like, it's not like a gala event or, like a 24/7 Rose Parade fucking thing. It's just basically being awake to being awake. I mean, it's not a huge heroic effort because you are awake to begin with. But now you've come to a simple understanding through what you're not, understanding what you're not, that you actually are and have been and always will be what you're looking for. Yeah? All that stuff is not even, you may have believed it was true, but it's like lit up true now. It lit up true. You don't have to keep relighting it. It's like an eternal little flame. There's been an understanding that's sort of galvanized or anchored. Yeah? Yeah. I've had like many of the experiences. One of them was the idea of being out of the moment. That was just washed away completely. I can't see. Yeah, you are the moment that now your head is saying you can be out of. It's just insane. Yeah. So this is the type of things that they land and they never depart, because their landing and staying aren't based on doing shit and maintaining and being vigilant. They're just facts. Yeah. They're just facts. Yeah. The fact is you are what you're looking for. It isn't like you will be what you're looking for through tons of work and effort and purification and shit like that. No, it says you are what you're looking for right now. Yeah. Now, speaking from the head's point of view, that has no traction. But speaking from what you are, it's completely obvious. Yeah. You are that which you were looking for. Yeah. So, one of the indications that's true now is you're not looking for it anymore. That's a pretty basic result, is you're not looking for it anymore. And now you spend your days looking for shit that can be found, like keys or a good sandwich or a nice coffee or whatever. I can find those things. I can't find what I am because it's not lost. I haven't misplaced it. It's right where I am at all times. Yeah? So I'm interested in the activity that's causing that not to seem obvious. Yeah? Just like I was in that activity when I was a kid and everywhereness wasn't seeming obvious to me. Even though I was in it completely, I had no noticing of it. Yeah? Why? There's got to be something that's producing that effect. It's not true, is it? It's not real. In other words, it wasn't here before and stays forever. It's something that arises in time and it weakens or gets stronger in time. Yeah, it's manufactured. So if it's manufactured and you've seen, like, you come into your head and you see a couple of bricks and some mortars and some shovels, and then you recognize, Jesus, something's being built. You've now seen the fucking, the construction site of selfing from what you are. which is what you're looking for. That's that awareness. That awareness that allows you to see the manufacturing of a you, yeah, is not the product of that manufacturing of a you. It isn't. Now the product of the manufacturing of the you will claim to be the seer of it, and that's the policeman, thief, self can't get out of self shit. But the fact is, that claiming there had to be light first, yes? Selfing doesn't see shit. It gets introduced to stuff through the light of awareness, yes? Then it claims it, and then it informs, it keeps proclaiming that you're the light. Yet what happens, most of your life, you're using the light to look for the light. Something is off, yes? Just sit with it, you know? This is a fundamental, this isn't sort of like, what's the sound of one hand slapping, Zen bitch slap. This is like primal stuff in a way, because if you're looking at the statement, what's looking is what you're looking for, what gets questioned there? Not the what's looking, but the looking for, yeah? The assumption is you are what's looking. That's the assumption. You can argue with it, not believe it. But what it sort of points at is the looking for. Yeah? The looking for may be the blindness to what's looking. Yeah? Yeah? It worked with me. First I had the understanding of satsang, just like I understood everything else. I started from me, and then I tried to increase or learn more or whatever, and it was me really trying to get out of me. Yeah. Once that became obvious, I've never looked the other way. Yeah. It just became obvious, and it didn't need like, all right, this year there's a radical new extension. No. It was just basically, I'm not that, yeah? I'm not that which is being implied, insinuated, remembered, worried about. Now, it doesn't mean there's not remembering and worrying about. It doesn't say that. I'm just not that, yeah? I'm not that. I am not the one that's being worried about, nor am I the one that's worrying, yes? That's it. So you start seeing what you're not, and then those statements sound totally different. What's looking is what you're looking for. The seeker is the sought. You can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha. Yeah? Why? Because you're the Buddha. Yeah? That's why. So I hope I don't know. I figure just sitting with each other here, every week, your front door is like mobile, yeah? You can you can get it at a good day, and the message will get right through. Not to you, but through you. It'll get through the door of Mike and hit the target, which you can't miss, which is everywhere, yeah? I have faith in that. So we repeat basically the same thing, thousands of different Zooms, with the hope that one of the Zooms, it gets in and in and in, yeah, and builds, I don't know what, and let's call it a critical mass. To change everything doesn't mean you have to change everything. All it is a little bit of transfer of interest and attention from the false identification into presence. Yeah, it doesn't have to be 100% in presence. All it needs to be is 50%, 0.001 in presence to change your life. Really, to change this life, this experience of Paul, and allow Paul what it couldn't possibly do on its own, which is travel lighter. Yeah. Not as Paul, really. The basis of the traveling lighter is from Paul, but the experience will be as Paul, yeah? And then the years or whatever, the attention and interest of presence builds up, and there's a more gets revealed about what? About what you're not. And the more that's revealed about what you're not, the bigger sense you have of what you are. Just the way it works. In my, in this seeming event, yeah. So, I didn't start out this way. I came to this point, and when I hit this point, the point I hope hasn't changed much ever since sharing it, because I truly, truly had a super clear view that if you don't see this, you're going to be looking from its effects. Yeah. The claiming will continue to go on unnoticed, and you'll be living life from a misplaced posture. Yeah. Therefore, it has to be an interpretation. And then what happens, response is pretty much gone, and now it's react. You're just reacting, as the Course would say, from the past, Course in Miracles, to everything that's appearing now. Basically, you're not living life anymore. You're living an interpretation of it, yeah? Nothing right or wrong with it, but it's nice to know. Yeah? So, all right, Mike.
Oops. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
good. And somebody just entered with the name OO. Could I ask them to turn their camera on by chat? If you don't turn it on briefly, I'll have to boot you. Okay, thank you. Never mind then. Robert has his hand up.
Robert.
Hi, Paul.
Robert, how are you?
Very good.
Uh,
Um, I just want to share what's been going on with me.
yeah.
I've been coming to these Zoom meetings for about 7 months, twice a week, and the message is definitely getting through. For the last few years, I've been experiencing a lot of physical pain from injuries over my lifetime and 55 years standing at a workbench and worn out joints. And my normal strategy is to run for the pill bottle when it gets bad. So a few weeks ago, I decided I want to try getting away from painkillers, and it was easy enough to do. And what I discovered was, the selfing grabs the pain in one moment in time and pushes it out into the future. Like, how am I going to get through next winter with all this level of pain? So I discovered that I was watching it from another viewpoint, and the pain is quite dynamic. It's moving, and it's in actual fact it's faster than the selfing, and it's not as bad as what I thought it was. I'm managing to get through with no painkillers, and just by watching it from what I am really. And so yeah, that's it. I just want to extend my gratitude to you and the group too for holding the space. It's been really helpful for me.
Well, you've been help to us, Robert, too. Yeah. And check it out, because it's a volatile thing, and see how you can. I had yeah, I follow some things in the gut. Yeah, so sometimes I'm actively trying to change something, and then sometimes I don't. It's just a surrender and see what happens. And
Mm,
I'm in one of those phases now. I just sort of, yeah. I couldn't explain the rationale because it's not rational. It's just a feeling or a movement, and I go with it. And after you go with it for a while, it's easier to pick up the feeling and the movement. Yeah. So
yeah.
it's almost like a changing of a system in midair. Yeah, you couldn't land and go in the hangar, but it's getting changed as you're living. Yeah, like you used to rely on the head, now there's reliance on something else. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean day to day, you want to call it a higher power, but this is more. I like the gut, and so you just follow something, and then hopefully, because the head will run an advertising campaign once the results are in and it was a successful living through that situation, it will try to mask that immediately. So you have to actually make an effort. I don't now, but in the beginning, to honor the demonstration of perhaps there's a new way to live. Yeah, I had to
Yeah.
honor it because the head wants to forget miracles quickly, and I can't rely on that to be an honest appraiser of a life. I can't. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
failed system. It's turned in on itself, and it's rather take the whole mission down than to admit the truth. It's just so. What's one to do? There's a lot of value in recognizing something as a failed system. Yeah, hugely.
Yeah. I actually made about 3 years ago, the pain level was pretty bad, and I actually made a decision to surrender to whatever, a higher power. And then I had this energy activation. I suppose you'd call it a Kundalini activation. I don't really use that word, but and that's just dynamic. It's moving all the time. Sometimes it'll actually amplify the pain, but it's actually brought me to a place where I can look at it objectively. And as I said before, it's the pain's not really as bad as what I thought it was.
Yes. Yeah. Well, the thinking always adds on to
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
When I was in Australia, I used to be on the East Coast and I'd go to Perth to do some talks in recovery. And the guy I'd stay with, Damien, he was really keen on me meeting this lady there who had bone cancer. And so I did. I went the first, like, I think the second time, and then I revisited her again, I think two more times. Then she passed away. But she couldn't get up. She was in a bed, and luckily her husband, they were well off so much. So she was in a bed in the living room looking out on a garden, and basically that was her life. And yet she was so bright. There was so much juice coming off of her. It was very profound for me. I loved to go there, just to see, just because she was a demonstration of something outshining circumstances and situations. Yeah,
yeah,
which many of us have been beaten not to entertain that possibility. We get beaten by the course explains it, but yeah, but she was definitely outshining her circumstance and situation. Yes, it wasn't her. Light was coming through her. Yeah, and there was another guy I knew. His name was Peter Fonda, not the actor. He was a shoemaker, a cobbler in San Francisco, and I had this car accident. I had to get orthopedic shoes for one of my feet. And so I ended up getting introduced to him. He was a tiny little dude, and he used to make shoes for Mother Teresa, and he was just like a saint, really. He was like not a saint. He was just wide awake, but in the curriculum of a religion, yeah. Just fucking blew my mind. I'd love to go visit him. I just stay there for hours, and he had all these pictures of Mother Teresa, and I brought him a Bodhi leaf from the Bodhi tree, from India. Now, this was almost like sacrilegious to the point he would be excommunicated. But he put it up there. It was such a great thing. He put a little Buddhist thing up there on his walls, and it was just so moving. And now this guy, every person in the street would have passed by him and unnoticed, because he was clothed in humility. He couldn't, but it was amazing. So yeah, there's a quiet power that moves through all of us. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what attitude or outlook would be the best one for the action figure to take in your situation or my situation. For me, it was surrender, in recovery. But for everyone, it would probably be a different stance or a different posture. Doesn't have to be like a modified thing, but surrender was that's the best outfit I can wear every day here is the idea of surrender, not just the
Yeah.
idea, but the basis. So I feel that doesn't come to us; it comes through us, yeah. And then the puppet little figure just takes a shape and a form to express that. It didn't come up with the shape or form, but something's moving through it, not of it, yeah, in here, and it's to me, that's the art. I love seeing people who are awake to being awake, yeah, because it's an art. Yeah, they're expressing through. Oh, it's just awesome. So, thanks, Rob. I really, really appreciate your presence at these Zooms. Yes. Yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you much, guys. Um, Anybody else want to raise their hand? And I'm still concerned about OO, that they've changed their name with multiple O's now.
Well, then just leave them out. Yeah.
Okay, well, now the video's back on. Okay.
Mike, it's me.
Oh.
Sorry.
No.
What's with all the O's?
No. It's oh.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. Anybody else want to raise their hand?
It was that second O that threw you.
she put 4 O's in there.
Oh.
Jay LeBrew has got his hand up.
Hey, Paul.
Hey.
So can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know. Just quick caveat before I ask a question. I'm here, not a spiritual seeker. I'm here 95% for the humor. Just throwing that out there. The other day I was thinking I'm like, I still listen to Zen Bitch Slap, a couple times a week. And it's like, I got the message. Why do I still listen? And I had to think about it for a while, and it's just because there's a lot of great humor here, so I appreciate that. My question is,
We try.
you don't find humor in these kind of talks very often, I find. But my question is, so like the statement, "I am not a body." Okay, I get that. I understand neti, we reduce it all down. Yeah, and I'm not this thought. Your brain in a vat. You're still not that. I get it. But at the same time, once death occurs and consciousness is completely extinguished, it would seem that there's not going to be, obviously there's not going to be any experience of anything, right? So in a way, aren't you identical to your body in the moment anyway? So I'm not a body. I understand where you're coming from with that, but at the same time, it's like this exact moment, this experience is the only thing that could possibly be real. So I am, in a way, completely identical to my body in this moment. Am I making any sense with that shit?
No. Makes sense, but you don't see this place is of time and space, yes? At least. So this is dreaming. This is an event called dreaming in a way. Yeah? So the identification as the body, there was a pre-wedding before that wedding. Yeah? If nothingness is the reality, which is timeless, let's say, yeah, there are no bodies in nothingness, in a sense. The bodies are appearing in a form of dreaming, yeah. So they are not. There isn't reality, and then the reality is the body. No, the body is entertained and it seems to appear. It's not the reality, though. Yeah. It's the reality if the dreamt is taken to be the dreaming. Yeah. If I believe I'm the dreamt, then the dreaming is as real can be. If I believe that I'm not the dreamt, the dreaming will be as real could be, but not to me. Yeah? Yeah. See, there's a difference. A huge difference, really. So no.
Thanks for clearing that up, actually.
I am a body or I am not a body. Usually when someone doesn't want to be a body, it's really coming from the idea of being a body. Yeah. So that's the I'm more interested in that line of questioning than the other aspect. Yeah, just to see who is it that thinks it's a body, because I had this experience with this. I felt like, all right, from hearing a lot of stuff that I heard, it's the body identification is the trouble. Yeah, it's causing me a certain blindness, and so got to see I'm not a body. So in the Course in Miracles, they have a lesson called "You're not a body. I'm not a body. I am free, for I am just as God created me." Something like that. So I would do that quite a lot. Now, after a period of time, I realized there was a reinforcement of the body through the chanting, "I'm not a body." Yeah. Because of what was claiming the chanting, "I'm not a body," was using it to reinforce that I was a body. I had no idea of that. That's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in that movement that I had no idea of it. Even in when I was completely immersed in spirituality, I still had no idea of it. So basically, it seems to be able to hide pretty well in everywhere. Even in the systems that are trying to kick it out, it seems to thrive. So that's where the interest lied for me. Yeah. So it still does, because I don't feel like, hey, you may need to do much, you may not. I don't know. But let's just get on, let's just acknowledge the horse is in front of the cart. Yeah, just get clear about something, and then maybe you'll want to meditate. And then you'll notice that the head is claiming to be the meditator. All right, that's valuable, because before you would meditate and you wouldn't notice that. And then after a couple of years of meditation, you would be crowned as a big meditator, and you're in another form of bondage of self. So fuck. Yeah. And then, so therefore, as that self, recognizing it doesn't work, now you stop meditating, which is fucking good for your nerves, maybe, or your blood pressure. So, no, I can't meditate because no. Whatever effect there is caused by what's before it. Yes? It's caused by what before it. So, an action is given meaning from before the action. Yeah? It's just like the thing in basic Buddhism, they have the Eightfold Path. Yeah, first they describe the problem, suffering. Yeah, and then they say, well, there's an Eightfold Path, and then so if you hear something with an eightfold, it's a prescription in time, obviously, because there's 8 things. Yes, so it's a prescription in time. So the first thing is right view, which is very peculiar and very important because they put it there at first. Right view. Then there's right livelihood, right action, right meditation. Yes, all these things. Now, in my own case, and witnessing a lot of other people, I was not clear about the right view, but I was hoping to produce the right view through right meditation, right livelihood, right this understanding, which didn't work. Yeah? Because the right doesn't come from the actions, it comes from the idea that you're not the actor. Then the actions can have value. Yeah? So the right view is that there's no doer. Yeah? Even though there's tons of doing, there's no doer, no long-lasting, independent, separate doer. That's the right view. when that's clear, that right migrates into everything else. The other shit doesn't produce it. Yeah? So chanting or saying I'm not a body doesn't produce squat. Yeah? It's how it's seen before the body. Yeah? So if I recognize the selfing arising, I see it, I've witnessed it many, many, many times. It's obvious its movement is to claim something, and it's mechanical to imply something else. So when there's doing, it uses the doing to imply the doer. That's what it does, yeah? So it in other words, it sort of adds a tail to a verb and makes it a noun. So there's donkeying, and it sticks a tail on it, donkey, yeah? Doing, doer. Seeing, seer. Hearer, hearing, yeah? Hearer. Yes? That's what I'm interested in. Is that if you can start seeing that, then you'll be seeing the selfing. You won't be looking from its effects. You'll be seeing it as its attempt to produce an effect. You'll see it, yeah? And if you don't go along with it, see, because it can't become a self. What it tries to convince you is you already are one. You're never watching it trying to become a self because it's fucking impossible. What it tells you is you already are one. And then it gives you very limited possibilities. Either you make this self really great or you spend a lot of time trying to get out of it. That's basically the situation. But self's going to be there. That's the fucking bondage of self. There's no becoming self. None. Yeah? There's becoming a lot of things and unbecoming. There's no becoming self. Yeah? This place is becoming and unbecoming. You arrive and then physically you leave. Yeah? Things appear and they're prone and they're destined to disappear because that's what things do here. Yeah? We're not of that. So no, the body is the experiential vehicle. It's not that which is before the experience. No fucking way. No. To me, the body is the ride that thinks it's on a lot of rides. It thinks it can get in and out of rides. It never sees the possibility of getting out of this ride. Yeah, because it's identified as it, yes? It doesn't see this as a ride. It doesn't. It sees this as a long-lasting, independent, separate thing. Yeah? That's probably going to migrate out of here and be Paul forever in thousands of different bodies. You know that thing talking to you is going to stop when the body dies. If you've been waiting, because if you're listening to your head, you're on a time delay right there. Because the head takes a second or two to interpret living, yeah? So what happens if you've been a devotee to that, and then you pass away, and you're waiting for it to tell you, hey, you just died. It ain't. The body shut down. You're never going to hear its last message. It was probably thinking, should I have mayonnaise on that bologna? Yo! It got caught completely by surprise. There's no one to inform me. Yes, exactly. You'll be in the bardo. Start listening to something else now. Eh? Silence is always speaking. Always. You can sense a presence. Yeah? You can sense a presence that's not manufactured. It doesn't come after fucking anything. It's the presence of here and now. You can sense it. You're here and you're now. Yeah? It's way before thought. Way before thought. See, then you live through thought, not by thought. Yeah? You see through the thoughts. The thoughts aren't like the Iron Curtain anymore. You see through them. Where when you're a product of thought, you see from the curtain. You never look through the curtain, you're looking from the curtain. You'll be blind, but you'll be blind to your own condition. You will. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, bro, nice to see you. Hope we have a good humor content for you today. Yeah. Seriously, thank you. Yeah, it's nice to see you. I like to meet people who've listened to the videos. I never, I don't meet a lot of people that have listened, You know what I mean? I remember I did a talk in England, Northern England too, Helen, a long time ago, and it was a crazy place. It was in a little hamlet, but the guy had like he got you could build a cabin out of this eBay thing. So he had built a little cabin, and so people came. Oh, it was crazy. And all these people came in one at a time who knew me, but I didn't know them. And it was just great watching their reaction. And then I felt like saying, well, it's going to be a bummer from now on, because now you met me. I was better when you didn't meet me. But it was wonderful, yeah? So I'm happy to meet you, yeah? All right, Mike, yeah?
Thanks, Jay. Gary has his hand up. Gary C.
Hey, Paul.
Gary.
Yeah, thanks. This is a great talk. I'm enjoying it. I've been thinking about, that movie, The Wizard of Oz, where in one scene where they see the Wizard of Oz and he appears behind the curtain and they say, and he gets really upset, like, don't look at me, ignore that. You shouldn't be questioning. To me, it sounds like the questioning of selfing,
Well, it was,
Yeah.
for sure.
And he got super angry, and he's like, you can do anything, but don't question this. And I just was impressed by, it gets really upset when it gets revealed, when the curtain gets pulled aside.
Yeah,
It's
for
like,
sure.
don't you dare look at here anymore. You're not allowed to. I'm thinking it takes a kind of courage to keep looking after, somebody or something says, don't look, don't look.
Well, yeah.
Something.
I don't know that. I don't know about that, but who knows? Yeah, grace. I like the idea of grace.
Yeah,
When you don't have any idea how or why something happens. I like the term grace. Yeah.
I guess I could just say, really, or just keep looking and like see if it's true. If is it really going to blow up?
Take much. It doesn't really take much. There's not much to look at, really.
But it seems like in that moment there's a lot of threats. Like if you keep looking, something bad is going to happen. Don't you dare keep. Don't you question me. Don't you. I think I see that with people sometimes. They get really upset. Like, how dare you question the reality of who I am? I am this who I am, and I'm going to get really angry if you keep questioning it.
Yeah, that's why in earlier days I'd have to leave town in less than 3 days. Because they'd really like what they heard, then they went home and thought about it, then they had questions, and then the third day they'd resent me.
Uh,
So I split. Yeah.
so you left town. Okay, well, that's one way to deal with
Especially towns like Dallas and Houston.
it.
A little heavy.
Well, I'm grateful that you kept the message going in spite of Dallas and Houston.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I can't help myself, really. I need to hear it too. So,
Yeah,
I mean, You know, something's in a way, the day in and day out is like could be seen as a you're being put to sleep, but the bed is so rough. It's so uncomfortable. Yeah, it
Yeah.
wouldn't be so bad if the bed was nice, but fucking yeah. So
Nails.
yeah, I'm not into the. I don't. I'm not. I love sleeping at night. I'm not like. I don't like sleeping in the day vertically. Yeah, I'm not interested in that. You know, I mean, it's to a point that if you know too much about knowing too little, yeah. So you're just incessantly on, which you've always been, but now that's you're incessantly on all the time. There's no break or interruption.
Mm.
You know
Yeah.
how the head likes to segment everything and break it down and put it into its little compartments. But in fact, there is no frame, you know. It's like a living mural in a sense. Yeah. There's,
No edges.
there was nothing that took a big inhale and then exhaled. It just is. Just goes on and on and on. Yeah. I just want to share because I may not meet you personally, but I'd like to see you travel lighter. I would, you know. I feel like that's one of the things I always had hanging over me. A vague sense that something was going on, yeah, that I couldn't grasp or get a hold of. Yet had a was quite influential. I couldn't tell you why. I just felt that. Maybe taking acid and stuff also. And then you know, I'm
Yeah. Like.
curious. I like to find out things. Not much about, but on this topic, I'm interested in finding things out. Why would, if we are, based on the premises, what we're looking for, why is the looking for so stubborn? Yeah. There's got to be an activity unbeknownst to us that's reinforcing that condition that seems so natural, yeah, to seek and look. But there's got to be something there for that to keep generating, yeah, because the utter failedness of it should have ended earlier, and there would be a recognition. Hey, I am what I'm looking for, but there's an activity that's going against that. Uh, that's curious. That makes me very curious.
Mhm.
Like when the Course in Miracles says follow this. It says, all right, you and I, because if you don't know about the Course in Miracles, they really emphasize this event as a dreaming. Yeah. Just, and I feel very intimate with that description. Yeah. So you and I are the dreaming. I'm going to say it the way they say it. You and I are the dreaming of the dream. I don't believe there's a dream. I think there's just dreaming. But you and I are the dreaming of the dream. And now it also has a lesson called Lesson 2 where it says, you and I give everything all the meaning it has. So we're basically the dreaming. Yeah? So you and I are the dreaming of the dream. We forget that we're dreaming. That's what interests me. Yeah, that statement.
Mhm.
All right? I'm all for the statement, you and I are the dreaming of the dream. And then he throws this thing in, and we forget that we're dreaming. How the fuck does that happen? That's what I'm interested in. You know what I mean? Because as soon as that becomes seemingly so, what happens is now you're giving everything you're dreaming the power to affect you.
Mhm.
Wow. And that's what I've experienced. I've experienced the effect of what I'm dreaming on me. Yeah, that's what got me soured. That's what got me interested because of a lot of fucking exquisite suffering and shit like that. Yeah, so it seems so simple. All right, you are the dreaming of the dream, you and I. Okay, we forget that. What? Now, the forgetting can only seemingly be so. It can appear to the dreaming that it has forgotten. All right? So, how can that forgetting get established? I couldn't see any other way but identification as the dreamt. Yeah? So now suddenly the dreaming is in the act of being identified as the dreamt, and what reinforces that act, what assumes that to be true, what implies it to be true, is the selfing and the mental processes. Because you're pictured as a body when you're thought about, you're pictured as a body when you're remembered, you're pictured as a body when you're worrying about yourself. So basically, there's a constant remembering ourselves as a body, and that's forgetting that we're the dreaming. Yeah, seemingly. It can't be so, but it appears to be so. To what? The dreaming. It always appears to the dreamt, but it's appearing to the dreaming. That's the point. Yeah? So what would happen if we describe the dreamt to the dreaming instead of fucking describing the dreaming to the dreamt? Yeah? Let's describe the dreamt to the dreaming. Let's say that if you are what you're looking for, it's here right now. It always has been, always will be. So let's at least throw it in that direction. Yeah? Okay? So let's describe what it's like to be a dreamt. Yeah? To the dreaming. Not describing, oh, you're the dreaming as the dreamt, because that will just be translated in I should have all these beautiful babes, 8 Cadillacs, great knee joints, tons of money. Yeah, that's how I would see it if I was the dreaming. It would be the dreamt would get everything he wants. Yeah, fuck that. I want to talk to the dreaming about the dreamt. Because the dreaming has no fucking dog in that hunt. It will be quite clear about the dreamt. Because it's not the dreamt. So then you recognize, oh, wait a minute. And now life starts being felt more from what you are than what you're not. And then it explains why that exquisite suffering, that one note of exquisite suffering became a symphony. You know, with an orchestra, and it went on and on and on. Because of something. The dreamt can't produce that. The dreaming can through the identification as the dreamt. It can. What's making this place seem real isn't the dreamt, it's the dreaming. The dreamt is just a camera location with 4 different senses. It sees, and this camera can hear, feel, taste, touch, but they're all a form of seeing, this dreaming, to have an experience of it. Yes? It's just that simple. Why would I sit in a room where the person just told me, well, what you are is indescribable, then hear a description of 2 hours of it? It's fucking ridiculous. Yeah? All right, let's go. Hey, well, is there any other way? Oh, yes, we can describe what we're not. Oh, let's try that. So maybe I can recognize it not as it, but from what I am. Yeah? And then what occurs? Incredible possibilities that never seem to be available to the dreamt is completely available now.
Yeah.
The dreamt gets the experience and the joy of it, but it's not the source or the doer of it. Hallelujah. Yeah? So then what does the dreamt demonstrate? Gratitude, fucking honor, or AWE. Something is doing for me what I can't do for myself. I think I'm on to something here. Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yes, of course, it has a light thing, but I'll tell you something. Only in time can it seem to win. In timelessness, there's never been a defeat or a victory. It's not so. Yeah? And this is going to end, but we're not. It is. This is going to come to an end. Just like the Zoom comes to an end, the Zoom life of Paul will come to an end. Yes?
Yeah.
I just don't see, I don't think, whatever, you know. I've died a number of times on a hospital bed, operating table, shit like that. When I was in that period of being dead, I had no memory of this fucking place. That's for sure. I was as surprised as anything to appear again here. If you think this is a vacation spot, do you ever see the same face here over and over again? No.
No
This is
return trip.
why? No. This is once gone. As if it never happened. Yeah.
Yeah, I like
I
that.
like you, Gary. Thank you. And thank you for all the support, Gary. I
You're
mean,
very welcome.
on a lot of levels. Material and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Paul.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Gary. Philip Pratt is next.
Philip from Brisbane. All right, Philip.
Hi, Paul. I finally got the T-shirt, or the T-shirts, the Wayne
yeah.
Po T-shirts, after about 3 weeks, which is great. So
Great.
I'm proudly wearing them around. And I belong to the Bridge
All
Trust.
right. Don't get arrested with them on.
It's a great talking point. You know, someone says, "Well, who's that?" You know, and you launch into this sort of spiel about you can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to encourage my daughter to come along to these Zoom sessions because she's sort of opening up to this message. But she said Hedderman's. I'm not ready for Hedderman yet. He's not. I'm not quite there. You know, I find him a little bit brutal in terms of his immediate experience. So, but every time I come here, it's kind of like it's. Sorry, that wasn't a criticism. It was just a sort of a comment. But every time I come here, even though, sorry,
I take it as a compliment.
oh, okay. Every time I come here, it's even though I think, well, wow, you know, I've heard this so many times, but it's something about the way you deliver it, which is just so fresh and so compelling. I guess from my experience, I sort of coined my experience as what I call peace in traffic. But I guess the issue is that the traffic doesn't seem to dissipate. It's just sometimes it just hammers me, you know. It's just the voice in the head. I thought that maybe this would kind of diminish as this kind of realization became, or, you know, when it was opened up. But it's like there's this voice telling me, I know it's just the mental state arising in selfing.
Phil, when that happens, just do something, you know?
Yeah.
Take a couple of deep breaths. It's not you doing it. You're not getting disqualified from the non. Just use skillful means. That's why you were introduced to them. Yeah. Don't be like non-duality isn't like religious zealotry. Yeah. Just it opens you up to use what you need to use when you need to use it, because it's not you. So yeah. So if it gets like that, you know, I figure you've been around the block a few times. I have. You find certain ways that distract the interest and attention. Yeah. Yeah. It's So you just do it. And then in that little distraction, things can really change.
Yeah.
And after a while, it doesn't take, the distraction isn't that much effort and it doesn't take that long and it does the trick. You, it's, you've sent it on another trail, so it goes off. Yeah. Yeah.
One of the biggest voices is saying this is too good to be true. You know, this is just wait, wait for the phone call from the taxation office or
Yeah.
something.
Well, remember, it's not you. Just put that in there. Just have a sense that that's not you. It's fishing. It's fishing to imply you. It's not you doing the fishing. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Or just use the from whence does this come? Because it all goes back to what we are anyway. Yeah. As Ramana said, Ramana, I don't know much, and I'm not an authority or something, but my my stunted understanding is, he came out of a silence because he assumed, like many of us assume stuff, that, because it was so obvious to him it was being transmitted by the silence, but he realized nobody was getting it, hanging around him. So he resurrected an old things came out of the Vedas, which is the from whence do I come, self-inquiry. It's sort of like another form of neti, not this, not that. And so basically he said, this is the only way it goes, and or surrender, Those are the options here. Either you get to the exact cause of the misery, or you realize you're overwhelmed and you and you ask a higher power to help you. Yeah, basically. So those aren't just two different camps. You can be a part of each camp during a day, the same camp.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can be in the surrender camp. You can be in that. It matters what's going on. So if there's a sense that something is taken to be really real, then do something, skillful. Use a way of distracting that, and just, hey, thy will is done, so to speak. Yeah. Yeah. Why? Non-duality isn't a fucking religion. It's not to be. It's not to be used as a saddle. It's allowing you to ride on any saddle, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
That's why it's not. See, you don't learn non-duality, nor do you acquire it. It's a fact. You may learn and acquire an understanding coming from that fact, but it's the understanding is not the fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fact. There's not this. How everything seems to be is not true. Yeah, that's all. The fundamental reality isn't this. Yeah, it's not a reality of appearance only. It's a space. So, like you said, peace and traffic, but really, traffic is in peace. Really. Yeah. Traffic is in peace. Things going well is in peace. Everything's in peace. It's not peace in traffic, but traffic is in peace. These activities appear in what we are. Yeah? Yeah. So if you're outmatched, that's a fucking incredible thing to know. So then you don't try to fucking say, oh, the house isn't on a fire when you're getting super hot. You know what I mean? Just get a pail of water, put out the illusion, and then you can realize, hey, maybe it seems like I'm at a lot of fires. Maybe I'm like the fire starter. Then some knowledge happens. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Not too precious either. Yeah.
Hmm?
You're right in that. The hijacking of this message by the mental state as well. That you're a realized person. You don't behave like this and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, you better drop that because it has you then.
Yeah.
As soon as it constructs a position, you're gonna fall.
Yeah.
every time, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's what it wants to do. The mental state is trying to triangulate you.
Mm.
And once it does, then, yeah, there'll be the pulling down of the statue, so to speak. See, that's why it's lucky for me, because I've never truly believed I was doing satsang.
Yeah.
It was so clear to me something was coming through and it had nothing to do with me, which allows me to show up all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it was me, I would have had to be prepared. Do I feel like I'm into it today or not? No. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So this is, if you can see it in one example, that can be expanded more into your life. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah. Thank you, bro.
Thanks, Philip. Ben Ross is up.
Hey, Paul. I was hearing you talking about we're the dreaming, and I was thinking that for me sometimes it's like I get tripped up because I wonder why, as this dream, why is it all appearing through this particular perspective? Basically like.
Yeah. Don't go there, bro. Please. As soon as I heard the why, just hug
Yeah.
it quickly.
Yeah.
What you are doesn't have a why involved,
Yeah. Yeah.
does it? I'm serious because that wanting to know isn't serving us. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's trying to replace a sense of being with the one who knows. I just stay with the sense of being.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really, really, my own humble opinion. Yeah. But go ahead. I'm just saying.
No, that's. I mean, that's it. I mean, like, yeah. Why is life appearing through this particular like
Why
body
not?
that's moving around? And no one else's thoughts are like moving through this particular mind, or this particular brain.
Well, that's true. There's not a pretty much we. Pretty much people having the same thoughts are occurring for most
Yeah.
people. There's just different nouns and but
Yeah.
what really gives the flavor to the thoughts aren't the thoughts. The thoughts aren't like a zillion ingredients. It's the thinker.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the thought that hides itself as a thinker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, just spend time in the woods, bro.
I'm doing it, man.
I think,
I
and that thing that, see, the wanting to know sort of promises you something. It doesn't deliver. You just get stuck with more ideas. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Knowing you're fucked doesn't mean you're not fucked. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, it was funny because I was listening to, and then the why sounded like a weird. It was like a tree falling in the forest. I was there. I was like, why? So yeah, I would. That urge to want to know can be starved. That's actually starving it. You get much healthier, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. All
Cool.
right. Yeah.
Thanks. That's
Yeah. But never, try not. If you want to say why, say it anytime. Yeah, I just want to save you some trouble, Ben.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah.
What can you do for Ben? Well, just send him a picture of a tree. That'll work. Ah. It was funny. Like if you've ever done martial arts and stuff, Chi Kung
A little bit.
leave like trees. a great giver of chi is pine trees.
Huh.
Other
Huh.
trees sort of suck the chi out. Yeah, but
Huh.
pine tree is like one of the best places to do tai chi or chi kung and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, they're putting out a lot of juice. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right, let's go, Ben. You're all right.
All right.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I want to mention too, it's also funny the self-verifying that there is a brain here that's thinking its own thoughts, as opposed to there's equivalently, even in our physics, the story of these brains are as connected to each other through the internet of all the senses, right? Like as I'm talking, that brain is hearing, but you can consider that one brain or one neural network. It doesn't have to be considered one brain talking to itself. So even the story, it's just like so yeah. I mean, somebody else can argue about that story, I guess, but it's a nicer story to me.
Well, yeah. In science and physics, it's always protesting the claiming of what I think is happening. Yeah, I mean it's always. But then again, the stubbornness of this programming, it's not really open to much new information, especially if it goes against the old information. Yeah, you know, it's funny, isn't it?
We got a hand up from Stuart Dawson.
Well, you just piggyback on this, what you were just talking about. I've been reading about neurology, the scientific approach, and they found that through the neural correlates of consciousness studies that the more intense of a mental experience, like an acid trip or an intense dreaming, the less metabolism there is, the less brain activity there is. So, what did it, and they, the question is, what is that which experiences? And you could take that to the logical conclusion that death would be the richest mental experience there is, because there's no brain activity at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, that's exactly the kind of thing I'm talking about, because like even scientifically they can show that experiences, let's say choosing color, there are not neural correlates for most of the colors we see, so we don't remember them. Like the ones that have neural correlates say, "Oh, I remember that color. I know that color." That's recorded like a DVR. They can actually show that people are registering colors, but there's no neural correlates to actually record and encode them. But it
Right.
doesn't mean they're not experienced.
Yeah. How do you explain red?
And then there's that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have that with and supposedly color. I am colorblind. I see the colors, but I misname them. Yeah. So there's a seeing of the colors, and then the brain tries to know it, and it mistakes it. Quite makes a lot of mistakes concerning colors. You see? So like you were just saying, the event is seeing, let's say seeing colors, and then the brain wants to know the colors. This brain doesn't do well with that. So I see brown, like rust looks like brown, purple looks like blue. I bought a lot of purple shirts in my life that I didn't know they were purple. And then someone had to tell me, "Hey, Paul, you're wearing a purple shirt." And then I'd realize it. Then I would see it as blue, yes? It's funny. So you can see the brain comes way after, even though it seems super fast. But can you imagine the space if there was a timelessness in time? I mean, that would be a huge space. So it comes after the events of living, for sure. Yeah, it's trying to interpret everything and to have us live from the interpretation of everything instead of living from everything and seeing through the interpretation. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
cool, bro. You're doing better as steward?
Yeah, in fact, I kind of lost interest in, the last time I raised
Great.
my hand a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Oh, great. It's working.
Yeah, it's working. I mean, it'll come up again, but what the hell?
What the hell?
It goes, huh?
Yeah. Well, now it ain't, so you have the
Yeah,
ability to enjoy it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you.
Joseph C. said in chat he had color blindness too. He couldn't sort pencils as a kid and stuff like that.
You couldn't do what?
Sort colored pencils as a kid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But you see, that's the thing. People don't think you see color. You're seeing the colors, but you don't have the name for it. That's all. Hey, we're going to end soon, eh?
And no other hands are up.
Oh, well, then we'll even end sooner. That's cool. Let me say hello and goodbye to everyone. Judith and Kerry, my little, yes,
And,
they're, uh, they're planning for my arrival someday.
Every day.
Oh, you won't believe
Every
it.
day.
That's all I hear about all day, Paul. All Paul. For real. It's
I'm
all
looking
good.
to it. I am. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, Judith, as always.
Likewise,
Yep,
Paul.
as always.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you.
Norman, another German man. Nice to see you, Norman. We got Kenneth. He's in Vancouver now. He's getting wiser by the day. We got Robert. Thank you for that share, Robert. Yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah.
Yes. We got Evandro. Nice to see you, Evandro. We got Jono, as always. Always a pleasure, Jono. Fritz. Fritz. Fritz is of an alien nature. Nature. Yes. Yeah. I don't want to get too involved with Fritz. He's a little. Nice to see you, Fritz. As always. We got Glenda O'Driscoll. Yes, Glenda O'Driscoll. Yes, Tariq. Very, very nice to see you, Tariq. Yeah, I'm gonna say you're getting in touch with me through New Jersey, just to be safe. Yeah, Tariq is from New Jersey. Yeah, Dover. We got Philip from Brisbane. Got a beautiful virtual reality back there. A little bit of the Sunshine Coast. Sunshine Coast. Yes.
Yeah, Talos Beach.
Uh, Hallows Beach.
Talos Beach. Yeah.
Oh, I know Canada, yes. I used to live right there up in Suffolk Park.
Yeah,
All
that's
right,
it.
yeah. Christine, nice to see you there, Christine.
Thanks, Paul.
We got Susie. Susie has been resurrected. She's almost at the surface. Yeah. We got Bernard. He's gotten withdrawn back into the void. Yes, he's coming back. Nice to see you, Bernard. Let's see. Arlene, what happens at the Zooms? They just changed the square. I lost Arlene for a second. We got Natalie. Natalie, in undisclosed location. She seems very subdued. Yes. Nice to see you, Natalie, as always. Oh, Ariane, is that the name? Ariane? Yes. We got Gary from the corner. You see us, Steward? On the dark side of the moon. Joseph, Joseph, you got it all. We got you all covered. You'll be getting an email or something. We got Brandon and anyone. We still have. Hey, Mike, did you talk to that guy Andrew?
No, he hasn't replied.
Well, we have a
Let
couple
me
of
double check.
scholarships. If anyone wants to go to that retreat next week, we will not have a meeting. Saturday, I'm going to be doing an online retreat Saturday and Sunday. If you're interested, and it's $100, so if you're interested and you're having a little difficulty with finances, just email Mike and we'll set it up for you. But next week there won't be a meeting, the regular meeting on Saturday. All right? Yeah, good. So we got Jay. Jay, I know Jay LaRue for a long time. He visits he's on the once every 5 years. He's like an asteroid, a comet that comes back. Always good to see you. We got Brandon, one of our music men here. Nice to see you, Brandon. We got Verena. I don't want to speak loud. She's sleeping now. Sweet dreams, Verena, from Germany. Walter, Walter, the myth, the legend. You, Helen,
Thank
always a
you.
pleasure to see you, Helen. Remember, Helen, you're a lifetime member of 10 Bit Club. Yes, yeah, you're in good hands. Roman, as always, pleasure. We got Zabi. Nice to see you, Zabi.
Nice
Sometime
talk, Paul.
together when we have time here. Yeah, yeah, at the house. Say hello to Terry for us, for Amelia and I.
Cool.
We got Chris.
Thank you.
Macaulay, always good to see Macaulay. There she is. Yep. Oh, there's Nina. Not Nina, not Tina, but Nina. All right. Nice to see him here. We got Mike Z, as always. He's the one that does all this. Jeffrey B. Jeffrey, are you in some kind of facility?
Oh, yeah, I'm in a kind of a rehab. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you. You didn't have to say it. I was wondering, putting you to with that message you sent. Nice to see you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem.
All right. We got Mickey. Hey, Mickey, you got to send us an email.
I
Or Mike.
did.
Hey, Mickey, talk to Mike after the meeting. We need to get
Okay.
Mickey's email. All right, Mike?
Yeah.
Thanks. Ann, always a pleasure. I'll see you this week, I hope. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Ben, nice to see you. If you look up, Ben, you'll see me there. I'll be in the body of a woodpecker.
Nice. All right, man. Sounds good.
David. Nice to see you, David W. James, always a pleasure. Another New Zealander. We got Sarah, very upset she's not in Greece. So would Ivy. Let's see. We got Tanya. Nice to see you, Tanya. Oh, there's Keith. Yeah, Keith is learning what is that? Hand-to-hand combat this weekend. Nice to see you, Keith. Hank, Hank is getting ready to take a nap. Nice to see you, Hank from Amsterdam. Amy, as always, from Seattle. Pleasure. We got Suka. We got Brahmi. Brahmi, I'll see you next week. Bernard, we're going to have an all-nighter. Bernard, we got Trisha, Cass, Beth, someone in Chance in Wonderland, Atara, Rich, John, another Nina, Mike C, all-time member. And thanks, everybody.
And and also they had to leave early by chat. They said goodnight, John K. and Drawer Monk.
Oh, great. And listen, there's going to be a new non-duality meeting on Tuesday morning, Pacific time at 9 o'clock, the third Tuesday of the month, this coming Tuesday. So is that posted, Mike?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, great. All right. Hey, thanks, everybody. Thanks.